Hey Survivors, Black here from CasaBLACK Gaming, and I am back with another episode in this little build series going over the new additions we've made to the Hobbit Hill Kingdom large build that we're currently working on. Now this video will cover the work that we did on terraforming a large corner of the build so we could create a nice connecting path from one of the front doors to our side entrance. We also added a covered outdoor eating area, we created walls along the path, and we did try our hand at a preliminary stone arch that may or may not stay in the build, and we're interested to see what you guys think because I think it could be better. We also did some more terraforming around the outhouse for a huge upgrade that's coming in the next episode, and finally we made the pathway up to the outhouse a lot more user friendly. Now, if you've been neglecting starting a terraforming project, this might be the video for you, as this one probably has more steak and less sizzle than just a video full of fancy building. But I promise this groundwork is going to lead to quite a boom in the building. Alright, so I started out with terraforming the far right corner because as I was looking at how to make a path around to that other door, I kind of felt like I would rather work with a level area more so than just stepping it down and then stepping it back up, and I did not like the idea of working on that corner with uneven terrain. Now, with terraforming being something new to me in this game, I kind of took it similar to how I would in Minecraft. I created a direct path, first creating a sort of skeleton or frame of what I wanted first. I stuck with the box 4-meter terrain tool for the majority of the framing stage because it covers more area and has that largest flat surface of all of the terrain tools. Now, without really planning on it, I found that this mound that was already here on the side of the hill would make for a great corner to connect the two directions, so I incorporated that into this new hill. Once I had the top of the hill how I wanted it, I then began filling in the sides of the hill, deciding to make it look somewhat natural with the option to either change it later into something else, or to kind of refine the look more with some of the terrain tool shapes or the rake if need be. Now, one thing I began to realize as the first side was made to look somewhat how I wanted it was that the underneath part started looking like an interesting natural cave or overhang, so I decided I would not be filling it completely and might have some other plans for it later. For now, I would just again try to make the cave wall parts that did connect look somewhat natural. Now, switching to the disc 3-meter tool, I began to really like what I was seeing in terms of things looking natural. I continued fine-tuning things until it got a little too dark outside to continue. Now, with the new dawn also came an idea which would make me take a break from terraforming for a bit. I got the idea to add an outdoor eating area. Now, one thing I loved doing as a kid was to eat breakfast outside at my grandparents' house in Florida, so this was something I could relate to. I began by clearing the area and then of course putting down a flintstone base. Now, flintstone pillars soon followed, and I crafted up a stone table and benches because, like my grandparents' house, there were stone benches and a stone table, so I had to keep with tradition. I then added a tarred shingle roof using outer roof corner pieces, which are a bit finicky sometimes, and so I recommend turning snap off for your initial placement and then turning it back on once you know that first corner is situated how you want it. Now, I was thinking the outdoor table area was good enough for now, but knew I would return to it later to add some clutter or perhaps something else. I turned my attention to the path that needed to connect on that new terrain that I had placed earlier. I was right in thinking it would be easier to work with on a flat surface, and also I think it just looked better. Now, with the path in place, I got the idea to add some heat to the outdoor living area, so I went back to that because I really wanted to get that comfort rested buff going out there. I added an overhead chandelier and a couple of stone chairs at the ends of the table to increase that comfort score. Now, sometimes when you don't have walls, it is not considered sheltered, so I decided to add a large fireplace on the side, hoping it would help count not only as that needed heat element for the comfort buff, but also maybe it would count as shelter as well. Now, without much planning, I just threw down a couple of the smaller ceiling slabs as a foundation for that small fireplace. I then put up some narrow walls to surround it. I then decided to create a chimney that would go up along the side of the roof just to give that extra bit of authenticity. Now, I wouldn't mind if the game allowed you to create a campfire that lasts forever instead of burning out, so we could place one inside the chimney so smoke appears to go out the top, but that's a minor issue and not as important as some of the camera work that is much needed. Anyway, with the chimney done, I placed some refined wood stairs just to mix it up a little from the all flint look it had going for it. And then I rolled right into putting up the path wall, which would really help elevate the look of the new terrain hill that I had made. Now, I didn't run into any problems placing the slabs, but I did run out of flint, so I would have to run out and mine some more. Once I got back from gathering flint, I realized that the outhouse needed a better pathway and lighting up to it, so I went over there and decided that this area could also use some terraforming to make the pathway work and look better. So I got out my trusty box 4-meter terrain tool and began laying the groundwork. Now, in comparison, this terraforming project on this side was a lot easier with less ground to cover. I decided to throw down a corner using the rock 2-meter tool, which looked pretty good. I did decide to take this terrain wall all the way down to meet up with what was already there, so that's what I did. Once done with the wall, I added the road path down, which was super easy since it was all flat. Going up the hill to create paths is still proving to be a little tricky for me. Now, starting down and going up felt a little better and made for a more smooth pathway than when I went up before, but I did not do great at keeping the pathway straight. So, with the pathway complete, it was time to add the path wall. Now, as I got further down, I did run into a little bit of an issue where the ground I placed was not wanting to let some of the stone blocks into place, but no worries. I just pull out my trusty 4-meter box terrain tool and edged away some of the ground. Now, as I was placing more walls and trying to make it look uniform and good, I decided that I needed some stairs coming down, so I tossed up a couple of those to make for an easy access point to get up and down right there. I continued the wall up the path to the outhouse. And then I decided I wanted to border the path on both sides, if only to hide some of those imperfections with the path placement. Now, it was not hard to place these, but there were a few areas I had to fight the view with to place some of the blocks to be the same height as those across from it. Once I got to the bottom of the path, I decided to border the entire other side all the way down, so away I went with that. Now before I finished, I had one little thing I wanted to add, which was a small archway over the path leading toward the outhouse. Now I was not looking to make it too fancy with a planter or anything, just a simple archway. Now I will admit that smaller structures, especially with the single 1x1 blocks, do not always look the best, so after I got it done I was not crazy about it, so maybe I'll do something else with it, but I'm interested in what you guys think. Let me know down below if you like the simple archway or should it go. Anyway, that's all for this Hobbit Hill Kingdom build video. I did not remember to film a tour for this section before I went on with more additions, so apologies for that. If you like what you've seen and would like to see more of this massive Hobbit style build, then give us a sub, like, and comment below. Now the next video will see us adding quite a bit of structure, so be sure to click that bell so you're notified when that drops, which should be later this week. If you have questions about anything in this video or how something was done, please put that down below as well. Anyway, I've been Black, and I will see you in the next video, and remember to stay positive out there.